the wood and it flexed out. Rims so big and the windows black. Got the light bulb lit up, double chromed out stacks. Yeah, we love to get them dirty, but still they so clean. Custom offsets, team stances, the team on top of it now. We ain't never gon' fade, so you better get ready, we're taking over the game.
Hey guys, Sean with Custom Offsets again, Custom Offsets TV. This time we're gonna go through probably the most popular question we get out of all of them. What the hell is offset and what is backspacing? How do they relate to each other? What does that do to the lip of the wheel? So this right here is a 20 by 9 zero offset wheel. So what that means is this whole wheel is 9 inches wide. The pad, if I spin it around, where it's going to bolt to the vehicle with a zero offset, that means it's in the dead center of the wheel. So it's 4.5 inches in, 4.5 inches out. It's in the center, zero offset. What that's going to do is it's going to create the back spacing. If you ever want to measure back spacing, you just lay something from here to here. You know, that you lay the wheel flat. You can lay a piece of metal or whatever across here that's going to keep that flat edge, and you just measure from here, where that piece is, to the pad. That's your back spacing, the distance between here. So if I take and I make this a negative, let's go negative 24. If I make this a negative 24, that means I'm going to move the center of this negative backwards. So I'm going to move the center back here, which decreases my back spacing. It's going to increase the size of the lip on this wheel because you're moving everything back, and it's going to make it stick out more. So the more negative, if you got your truck fender here, the more negative you go, the more it's going to come out because you're moving this pad back. So as you move that pad back, that's your negative offset. It reduces the amount of back spacing. Here's the reasons why I think you give a crap about that. For one, you have to have enough back spacing back here. On most lift kits, it's around 4.5, 5 inches of back spacing. Because if you have 7 inches of back spacing, let's say that you have a big old positive offset. So the hub is way out here at the edge of the wheel. You have no lip on the wheel. It's a big flush wheel. Your suspension is going to hit smack into this wheel. So when you go to put it on, it's going to go on way too deep because this pad is moved this way because it's positive, and it's going to hit on steering components. That's why when you do a lift kit, sometimes you can't put the stock wheels back on even for an alignment, because when you go to put it on, doesn't have enough back spacing. So a big number in the back of here means it won't go on your lifted truck. Now, as you reduce that back spacing, it's creating that negative offset, and that's what starts pushing the wheel out. So whenever you hear people talk about, yeah, I got 20 by 12 negative 44s, most 12-inch wheels come in a negative 44 offset. It's just kind of a common industry number, and that's what creates that 4.5, 4 3/4 inch back spacing, which means it'll fit on almost any lift kit, and it's going to stick out. So those negative numbers start to create the wheel lip. Now what can happen is, if you look at this wheel, it's kind of got a curve to the spokes. So what that's going to do is, even though the pad is where it is, it's diving backward, it starts to create wheel lip. So what can happen is we get people all the time saying, well, my negative 44, my 12-inch wide negative 44 has got a 3.5 inch lip, and my buddy's got this negative 44 on a 12-inch wide, and he's got 6 inches of wheel lip. That's because what they're doing is, even though the pad is this is in the exact same spot as it relates to the center of the wheel, what they're doing is they're bending these spokes back, which gives the illusion or the idea that there's a bigger lip on there, and that's what's creating the difference. So at the end of the day, if you're buying any 20 by 12 negative 44, they're all going to fit the same. They're going to have the same amount of room in the back, and they're going to have the same amount of wheels sticking out. I think the other thing to remember is, if it's a 22 by 12 negative 44 or a 20 by 12 negative 44 or an 18 by 12 negative 44, that 12 negative 44 is how much it's going to stick out. The 18, the 20, the 22 has nothing to do with anything other than you're going to have less rubber or more rubber depending on which size you go with the wheel. So I hope that helps out with kind of understanding offset and back spacing. I know it took me forever to just kind of figure out the concepts. The other problem is, you can't just say, a zero offset has a 4.5 inch back spacing, because the thickness of the pad and the fact that there's the lip on the wheel, it changes it. I believe it's actually a 5-inch back spacing on a 0 offset. So go out on our website, customoffsets.com. We got a bunch of calculators out there. You can put in the offset or the back spacing. It'll give you the other one if you need to figure that stuff out. You can even compare 2 different wheel and tire setups and see how much it'll change on how it's going to sit on your vehicle. Very bottom of the site, just go under tools and calculators. So hopefully that gives you the rough idea of what back spacing and offset are, and then from there check out the website and follow us on Custom Offsets TV on YouTube. Thanks a lot.